we are here to talk about the recent lawsuit. The National Association of Realtors has settled last week pertaining to commissions, right? And there's a lot of news, if you want to call it that, out there about this lawsuit. And we wanted to just first say exactly what's going on and what it means, because we've been to the DOJ's website, we've been reading about it all weekend, and we think there's basically 4 main points that will be changing, not right now, in July.
Assuming it's approved by the federal judge.
Yes, and that has not happened yet. And the first one is that no longer will we be allowed to disclose buyer commissions on the MLS. That is not happening anymore.
And for people that don't know, I mean, if you go on if you go on MLS, and keep in mind that MLS, which is, our multi-list system, that's where we put the houses up for sale, all of those fields that we fill out get transported over to the Zillows of the world, the Realtor.com, the Redfins. So anything we put on there, except for one tiny little section called agent comments.
Yeah.
Everything that gets put on there gets transported over.
Yes.
So it's not just about showing the buyer's agency on MLS, but because it feeds Zillow and so forth, it actually appears on those as well.
Yeah.
Well, did appear.
It did, and it still does today. These changes have not gone into effect yet. And the logic behind that is that they did not want basically buyer's agents steering clients in the direction of homes that paid the agent more. This is so the client could get the home they wanted, not the home that pays the agent the most. Right. That's the logic there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then in addition to this, you must, it's not optional anymore, have a buyer's agency agreement with anybody that you take out to show a house to.
Yeah.
Right? Now, this is kind of interesting because the other factor of this is lockbox access. It is no longer restricted to only agents. So if I'm an agent and I'm bringing you out, I have to have a buyer's agency agreement with you. But under certain scenarios, you might be able to go out by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be able to send you an access code. Suppose I had cameras set up. That seems like it would be possible from what I'm reading. Okay. And then the fourth part of this that I've seen is buyer's concessions will be on the MLS. Sort of instead of, you're allowed to put buyer's concessions on the MLS.
So if the seller is offering, say, X number of dollars towards closing costs.
Yes.
That sort of thing could be on there now.
Yes, and your buyer's agency fee would qualify as a closing cost, right?
I think we actually need to get a full legal opinion on that one. I'm not willing to opine on that one just yet.
Well, I mean, right now...
It stands to reason.
Right now, it's a closing cost for the seller. If you look at the sheet, it's a selling cost for the... It's a closing cost. So it would then be a closing cost that is split.
Right. Yeah.
If done according to what they foresee. So you would be able to basically advertise a concession at closing. And this is important because when they sign that buyer's agency, there's going to be a fee on there. And, so you're going to have to, as a buyer, be aware and ready. And I think a lot of buyers are going to be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's confusing because this is not the way it's been done before.
Yeah. I think for the people that are, that have decided now is the time to go out and buy a house.
Yeah.
Signing that buyer's agency agreement won't be that big a deal.
Yes.
Because they're in the mindset, right? They're hunting for a home, and they need a guide for their hunt. For people that are, let's just go out and check it out.
Yeah.
I think that signing something is going to feel a little too final, a little too legal.
A little too restricted.
Yeah.
I think you might see a lot more people at open houses.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to, there'll still be open houses. I doubt that they're going to make everyone who walks into an open house sign a buyer's agency agreement.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, might be a boon for the open house.
Yeah. So, really just 4 things that have changed.
Yes.
So it's not this, well, I suppose it can be still, and we'll probably explore that in another video.
Yes.
But it's not this seismic change that everyone's talking about with, commissions being slashed.
I mean, yeah, it hasn't, there's no rule as to what commissions are supposed to be, and there never has been.
Yeah, there never has
and it's
been.
always been negotiable. But if you go on the MLS, if you could see all the the commissions, you'll see that some of them are they vary. They do, and it is true that most of them hover between 2% and 3%. That's true.
Yeah.
And right now, it is also true that I would say the ones that are at 1% might not do as well. I think that's legitimate.
It's unfortunately human nature.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so that won't be visible anymore. So whatever that commission is will not be disclosed. And you'll just go look at the houses and then you'll work that out on the back end, basically.
So in the interest of transparency and competition and negotiating, we've actually hidden some information that...
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically you as a buyer will be signing up to pay whatever commission you have agreed to.
Without knowing ahead of time whether any of that's going to get covered.
Whether any of it's going to get covered. And your agent will be saying, I'm going to try to negotiate this into the deal, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So you may end up paying. That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line, yeah. Yep. All right, so I think that's a good place to stop on this one, just covering like the actual facts versus some of the
just the facts.
versus some of the clickbait headlines out there. And in the next session, or maybe one of the sessions today, because we're going to do a few, so you're going to see this outfit, this color combination of blue and orange, quite a bit coming up on the channel here. So thanks, that's the first one, and we'll be back with another.
Okay.